I never realized how long 30 seconds was.
Yeah, it's a long time, man. It can be, and I don't even think that started from 30 either. Like, or maybe it did. Who knows? Started from 30.
Supposed to.
Welcome. God, I
Welcome.
forgot. I forgot to push record on my other thing. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Lord
Did you do that?
Jesus. No, it's going now. Yep.
Okay. All right,
Hopefully, it
so it
doesn't
is.
interact with this in a weird way.
It shouldn't. Monday night. Well, 10 o'clock here, 7 your time. Must be nice.
I guess, man. I still gotta get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Whatever's nice. It doesn't really matter. Anytime after what now, I'm getting less than 8 hours. But
Yeah, I
oh
don't miss
well.
those days. Give
Oh
me trouble
well.
clocks too early.
So for those that don't know, we are talking about the Ancient Apocalypse show. There's apparently two I was not aware of. One of them is they're both on Netflix, I guess. One of them is from 2022. One of them is from whatever other date that it was. But I was researching and like got them mixed up on Google, and I'm like, oh god,
Yeah, I
goodness
started watching the
gracious.
one with Graham uh, Hancock. Graham Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really good. They talk about, like you said, these ancient historic sites that just for whatever reason disappeared. Maybe these
Yeah, the
apocalyptic events.
the premise of the entire show is like in pretty much of Graham Hancock's entire career is trying to prove the existence of an advanced civilization that predated, like the pre-Adamites that predated us, and perhaps lived alongside with freaking the ancient peoples, the ancient hunter-gatherer peoples and whatnot, and that it's drummed up so much controversy. It actually took me, I didn't even know it was released in 2022. This guy that I work with has been trying to get me to watch it, and I'm I don't know. Like most of the time throughout the week, I like to mind numb myself because like work stresses me out too much, and like these kind of shows I know is going to set me on a war path in my brain and make me research absolutely everything. But honestly, it's affected me in a good way. Like a lot of people get up in arms about his ideas because they call them fringe or conspiracy theory
Pseudoscience.
related, but pseudoscience. He's been called all kinds of names, and that's because when you present information that challenges the worldview, I'm driving so I can't chat, but you did chat. When you
Safety
present
first.
information that challenges the worldview of people, people react. That's the same problem we have with a lot of different things in our society. When you have information that challenges another person's worldview, like that can be earth shattering for some people, and they react violently to it. But the fact is, he's gone all over the world, and he's taking talking to all these people, listen or seeing all these different sites for himself, recording all the information, going over all the data that they all have. Like a lot of people write it off, but like if you ever read his books, dude, he puts a lot of work into what he talks about. Like
Yeah.
he never comes out and says like this is the way that it is, but he's like, no, the data is certainly suggesting that this could be the case. You know what I mean? Like it's just taking it a step further than an archaeologist would. You know what I mean? But I find it quite interesting myself.
It is. I've watched about three or four of them today. I think
They're
it's
good,
season
man.
one.
I couldn't stop watching them. Like I was up like till like 11 p.m. last week, every night watching them. Like then I rewatched them. That's good stuff right there. Good solid TV. Anybody who wants to jump on Netflix and watch it. If you're into ancient civilizations or the alternative theories that there could be, about our origins, by all means, start with this guy. Like he presents information in a way that's to me, it's easy to understand, and it gives you an alternative idea, not just what we've been told. But so they proposes a controversial theory about lost advanced civilization wiped out by a cataclysm. That's the whole premise of this show. Um, it's called the Younger Dryas, is what the I guess scientists are calling it now, which happened about, I think they say 13,000 years ago, give or take. And it interestingly coincides with all of the flood myths from around the world. Did you know that pretty much every culture around the world has a flood myth?
Yep, pretty much everyone.
Pretty much every single one of them. Like, it's written in the. Let's see, man. I wrote a note on that one. Good lord, I got like 300 pages of things open. Like, I gotta go through and close some of these, man. All right. Give me just a second to find my flood notes here. Notable examples of the flood myths can include the biblical story of Noah, the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, various indigenous American narratives, flood myths from China, Greece, and South America. Um, it says there's estimated 500 to 1,000 different flood myths from around the world.
And they all
Woo,
sound the
man.
same too.
Very similar. So they all and that's one of those things that when you look into archaeology at all, they don't like to include myths, and this is one of the things that Graham Hancock talks about is like, why aren't they taking the words of the people more seriously? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, myths are oftentimes stories that are handed down over times, over generations, and some of them are crazy, but if some of them might help us find out more truth.
Couldn't hurt.
All right. So, question that I wanted to ask is, why do you think archaeologists get so up in arms about the ideas that challenge the current narrative?
Well, it's like he said in his videos, it'd be a paradigm shift. They have to rewrite history. They don't want to have
Right.
to go through all that, be proven wrong.
And I was discussing this at work with somebody. So, like, there's one of the widely accepted theories about the origin of America, because I'm actually reading his book America before, and I guess one of the wildly accepted theory is that there's a people called the Clovis people, and that is like the oldest known peoples of the Americas. But we keep finding older and older that keeps older and older ruins that push the dates back. And if you were the person that put forth, you found this archaeological dig and you became really famous, and you're like, oh yeah, I created this narrative that civilization started here, and all of a sudden somebody else is like taking your shine away from you, of course you're going to react violently. And the fact is, in order to get any information out into the mainstream, you have to go through these certain channels, and they have to approve your stuff. So if say you send a find out to Nature magazine, like, they're probably going to shoot it down, and you might have to do 86 revisions and try 86 times to get it in there. And people react with like violent ridicule and this kind of stuff. I mean, you get on Facebook at all in any of the comment sections about Ancient Apocalypse or Graham Hancock, you see people, dude, they react violently to this stuff like crazy. They immediately resort to name calling, all kinds of crap.
Hmm.
It's wild, man. It's because it affects people's worldview.
Hmm. People don't like
Right.
change, especially on that scale.
One other question that I came up with is like, if there was an advanced civilization before us, where did they go? Why didn't they leave anything behind for us to find, so to speak? Or maybe that we just haven't found it yet. But hmm,
Well, if it was a
I think
great flood, you can imagine it was all washed out. Who knows how far out?
right. I think it's more or less the personally, I think there's a
Uh,
sinister aspect of history. I think that there's people that would go to great lengths to cover up narratives and cover up stories and keep things hidden that they don't want other people to know about, just like technologies.
yeah,
Keep us
no
in the
doubt in
dark.
that. Keep us on this prison planet.
Mm-hmm. Because if you want my belief, I 100% believe that we like civilization goes back deep, and like we had, advanced civilizations living here way before us that have
Oh
slowly
yeah.
but surely, over time been wiped out, gone back, like a cycle. Um, and it's one of the most interesting things at the end of that show. Like, have you heard of the ruins at Gobekli Tepe?
Hmm.
So I think it's like the last episode. They have an archaeologist that's like apparently decoded one of the one of the pillars or whatever has like a story on it, if you will. And he says that apparently it's about a great cataclysm, like what happened. It was like a comet or whatever that came and hit the earth and destroyed a bunch of stuff. And that's what they believe, caused the great flood, is that it hit the ice caps and melted it all at once and bam, flooded the earth. But of course, no one knows that for sure. It's just pure speculation. But clearly, there was a global flood. Science recognizes that. Um, there's myths all over the world for that. So why
Mm.
are we even arguing about it? But
And they've even found fossils in places they shouldn't of sea creatures and stuff.
mm-hmm. Then, dude, I mean, again, I worked with a dude that is he claims to know where Noah's Ark is and claims to have taken ground penetrating radar, but they wouldn't let him dig it up. Um,
We'll need him on the show.
yeah, he won't do it, man. I'm trying to get him to do it. I think it's because he's old and goes to bed at like 5 p.m. So I don't know. Maybe we get a recorded. That's not very nice. I'm not saying that he's old, but I'm
Do
saying
I
that he's
know him?
old anyway.
Do I,
You know who
do I know him? Was
Scott
he there when
Tipton
I was
is?
there?
Yeah, you know who he is.
Okay.
Scott Tipton. Yeah, I use his name. Oh God, he's gonna sue me now. Lord,
Plagiarism.
stop
I'm sure he
plagiarism.
doesn't mind. Not many
No,
people are
he doesn't
watching.
care. No, it doesn't matter.
You're
He
cutting in
still
and
wants to
out.
take me to his. I am cutting in and out.
Yeah, they get a little bit of pausing here and there. Not bad, but occasionally. Not as
Oh
bad as I
God.
was before I fixed my network.
Oh, I need to start wiring my stuff in. But
Did you reboot your router like I told you?
rebooted my router reboots every day. Literally.
Might need
Um,
to go and clear your cache in your MacBook network settings.
probably.
I do that once in a while.
Probably.
IP
Let's
config,
see.
reading my DHCP piece,
Oh, really?
networking stuff.
Hmm. Let's see. So I'm talking about the show. On the first episode, he talks about, it's called "Once There Was a Flood." And he goes to Gunung Padang, which is in I think, oh, Nan Madol. I don't know where that's at. Oh, Indonesia. My bad. I read that wrong. And it's an archaeological site that is apparently controversial in itself, and it's like speculated against. But they've done ground penetrating radars there, and they found evidence that there's like a really big open area apparently, but
No chambers.
archaeologists won't come to to investigate it because of the dates, I guess. And that's a lot of the problem with archaeological investigations, is that you have to have somebody pay for this stuff, and a lot of times it's the universities and whatnot that do this crap. And if you're presenting ideas that they don't like, they're going to pull your funding and all saying, hey, you ain't got no money to do it. Like, this stuff takes a lot of money.
Yes, it does. Then it discredits you and your reputation's hurt and all that good stuff.
Right. Then the next place he went is Cholula, Mexico, and the Great Pyramid of Cholula, which I had never heard of before I watched this. Apparently, like, it's like, according to them, it's like the biggest monument ever constructed. I never heard of it until I watched the show. It's nice. It's crazy.
But that's what I was saying. Most people haven't heard of it.
Right. It's freaking nuts, man. I don't know. And the next one he goes to is what, Malta, the megalithic temples of Malta.
Hmm.
And then my favorite one is Gobekli Tepe. For those that don't know, Gobekli Tepe is in Turkey, and it's the oldest known archaeological site. It dates all the way back to like when humans first started, like the dawn of civilization. But it's complex because they were not supposed to be able to build monuments like this at that point in time. Like we were literally, hunter gatherer peoples, and like nobody can explain how they were able to build this. And this is part of the reason, why he's suggesting, an advanced civilization before us.
It makes sense.
What else we got? Like the pyramids are always another like great example to me of advanced, obviously evidence of an advanced civilization. It's one of those ones that's widely speculated, like the question I asked before is, did advanced civilizations leave stuff behind for us to find? I think that the pyramids are a prime example of that. The Sphinx is a prime example of that. Like, I don't believe that they were built, not even a not even a second do I believe that they were built when they say they were. Um, you know, the Sphinx, the weather erosion on the outside of it is a good example. Like they dated that, for that to be where it was, it would have to be like 14,000 BC or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But plus like the astronomical alignments of all these things.
So perfect. And if you look up the, was it the longitude and latitude, and it maps out the speed of light perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Like there's the book called The Great Pyramid Decoded that talks about all the different measurements. Like the Great Pyramid of Giza is not off by more than a half an inch on all sides. Like on like, what do you call that? Like balance, not balance, but level. My goodness
Mm.
gracious. Like it's not off by more than a half an inch on side. That's like impossible even by today's standards. And not to mention like not just the blocks on the outside, but the blocks on the inside. The like the ones in the goodness, man, my brain's taking a crap today. But like the
Same.
King's Chamber, like the Grand Gallery is what it's called. There's stones that are like put in a position that are it's just impossible to have been done like the way they said it was done. Uh, like you're talking about angles that just couldn't be done. But if you look into the Sumerian tablets and all that, they have, exactly how they did it. And nobody wants to get into that though. Nobody wants to believe any of that.
Mm. Wonder
What's the
why.
truth? Nope, because they're trying to keep it from all of us.
It's monsters.
Mm-hmm. I drank too much caffeine, man. My heart's palpitating. I'm dying here.
Ooh.
I'm gonna blow up.
Yeah, mine does that naturally.
Oh my god,
When I'm asleep, my heart racing at 90s.
it's terrible, sir. I don't know why this mentioned the Nazca lines because I don't think does he mention the Nazca lines in that show?
Not one I've seen yet.
Nah, he. I know he talks about it in the Fingerprints of the Gods, but clearly I didn't proofread this. But I mean, the Nazca lines are another solid example. Honestly, it's something you can only see like if you're
From the air.
flying over. Um, like nobody knows how those were made. There's all kinds of crap all over the world that nobody has any idea how they were made. But I know people like to joke and be like, "Oh, yep, it must have been aliens if we don't know what it made it." But like, what if these weren't aliens? That's the question. You know what I mean? What if this was not aliens at all? What if this was advanced freaking humans? What's the answer?
I mean, even that. When did they get their knowledge from? If they were humans, it kind of
That's a
just
dang
popped
good
into their
point.
heads.
That's a good point, man. It's like that's one of the things he does in each of these episodes too is he talks about the different myths of the archaeological sites that he's at. So he'll read, the stories of the indigenous people about them. And
Mm.
what if we started taking a lot of these old stories serious? What if we started taking like the Sumerian stories serious? Like, what if they weren't making this stuff up? What if they're telling us the truth? What if this was a record for us to find? You know what I mean? For people to be able to decode later and really learn about our history. And I honestly, I agree with him. I think that we are a species living with an amnesia, and I think that the true story is very rich. Like we like to think that we're the pinnacle of civilization, and
Mm.
what if
No.
that's not true?
Well, that's the thing. Technology has made us actually dumber.
Mm-hmm. The TikTok generation, bro. The TikTok generation. well, technology has the power to not only expand our minds, but it also has the power to dumb us down too. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Depends on how it's used.
Yep. Like this thing right here. I'm chained to it. It's a part of me.
Which phone is that? Oh yeah, you don't have an iPhone anymore. You went to the dark side. Ah,
Welcome back. You froze for a sec.
well, my God, it's because I'm in 1080. Maybe it's because I'm recording with that other thing. But let me stop that guy really quick. Maybe it's too much. Which you wouldn't think that it would be too much, considering
Shouldn't be.
it's got the freaking M2 chip. Like I literally pay for the gigabit internet. Like I pay like $115 a month for this shit. Now there's no way.
I had to adjust some settings in your router. Might have some interference. If I was there, I could
I
do some
mean,
tech support.
listen, there is a bunch of people in this house playing games and watching streaming, so it could be it too. But
Are you on 2.4 gigahertz or 5?
this should be 5.
Try
But
2.4. Has less interference.
it's unheard of, sir. I'm not going back to the 2.4. What's your consensus, sir? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that there was an advanced civilization before us? Do you think there's evidence to
Absolutely.
support that?
Absolutely. And like I brought up to you earlier, why has nobody gone and done paranormal investigations at these places?
That's a good point. At least none that I've ever heard of. Like that would be a
I
good
haven't
thing
either.
to do, man. That'd be fun because I've been wanting to visit a lot of these monuments all over the world and to go
I would
in
do
and
it.
do.
I
That'd
get
be
the
nuts.
resources and the funding. I'd travel to these sites, do paranormal investigations, try and get some evidence or gather some sort of information from the spirits. They
I
may
mean, there
still
was
be
this
around.
one person. Whenever I would watch Gaia, there was this lady who would do. She would apparently she called her herself a spirit traveler. She'd go there and meditate, and apparently was able to travel back and see for herself who built these things. And now, whether or not that is true or false is remains to be seen. But some of the stories were pretty interesting, I would say. And I'm pretty open minded, I would guess, but
Same.
it seems maybe a little convenient. I don't know. Like maybe I should go there and go back. I would love. Like, there's nothing more I'd love than to go back in time and see like who built the pyramids, or if
Oh man, could you imagine?
of course I'd probably be killed and maybe crucified on the
Well,
cross or something. I don't know.
bird at the stake
Yeah, burnt at the stake.
is a
This is funny.
witch.
I said that in the freaking in the one video, and the lady was like, "This is not Salem times, guys." Like, obviously, it's not Salem times. We were making it. Oh my goodness,
Hmm.
I love the internet.
There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there.
Right? Have you ever heard of Serpent Mound in Ohio?
Hmm.
Like, I had never heard about it before I watched this, and apparently in Ohio, there's this giant, like, they essentially erected a serpent. It's like a mound, giant ass serpent, man, and you can only
Hmm.
really see it from like if you were above it in a plane, which is interesting. Why would these peoples erect something that they wouldn't be able to see? You know what I mean? Unless they were higher up in the air. Just
Yep.
another weird thing.
And I was born in Ohio. Coincidence?
Really?
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
I was raised in Georgia, but I was born in Ohio.
Explains everything. There's
I mean,
nothing written on that.
I was under a year old when we came to Georgia. I don't have no memories.
Wow, so you're basically from Georgia. All right. So do you think
Born
that
from
there
birth.
was a great flood that happened?
Yes.
I agree. So the reason he talks about the Serpent Mound or whatever is because that's right at the point. That's the furthest point south that the North American ice sheet went, and one of the things that he argues at the end is that the cause of the Great Flood or the flooding, all over the world is there was a comet that hit the Earth about the same, about 13,000 years ago, in the same point of the what is it, the Aquarius or a Pisces going into Aquarius, according to the zodiacs, which is should be unnerving to anybody. because that's where we're at now on the same point of the of our
Hey,
Milky Way
dogs.
galaxy. Oh well. But he's suggesting that the comet hit, and that's why there's no record, no evidence of where the comet hit, is because it hit the ice sheet, melted that, and then caused this massive flood and like winter, all like basically plunged the world into darkness, caused winter. There's evidence of that all over the
An
planet
ice
too.
age.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think it's an interesting show, man. I'd recommend that anybody jump on there and watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch some
Don't
more
take
on my
my
next
word for
days
it.
off. I started it. I'm gonna keep watching it when I can. I'm gonna have a break with
I'm not
class here
saying
pretty
that
soon.
I like 100% like believe everything anybody ever tells me, because that's just not how my brain works. I like to question things, and I like to watch stuff that opens my eyes. I like to read books that opens my eyes, but like I'm as much of a skeptic as I am a believer in anything. like like I want to go to these places myself. I want to go explore some of these hidden tunnels, hidden caves. Like in all honesty, man, I thought about it. I was gonna major in journalism. Journalism was my favorite thing. I was like, there's nothing stopping me from being what this dude does. Like yeah, I
Oh,
could go to these places, talk to these people. I never even thought of that,
you could.
because I was like, man, I
Yeah.
would love to be an archaeologist, but I don't know. I feel like I'm too much of a free thinker for any like mainstream thing. But
I get it. Not to mention I'm
yes, sir.
claustrophobic.
Huh?
So not to mention I'm claustrophobic.
I'm a little claustrophobic too, man. Some
If I gotta
like I
squeeze into
love
some
going into
crevice,
caves,
no.
man, but we got to get into the small spaces. I don't know about all
I gotta be able to stand up at least. If I gotta squeeze into a crevice, no. I'm good.
that. I don't know. Imagine being like the first person that went into the pyramids and stuff like that, dude. My goodness.
You froze.
Oh, did I? Am I still there?
You're back now.
My God, I think it's because it's at 1080p now. I don't know. Maybe
I would try next time trying the 2.4 gigahertz. It can go through walls and stuff easier. The signal.
I'm just gonna reach my long ass freaking cord over here and plug this in. That's what I'm gonna do.
That works.
That's what I'm gonna do. But in any case, sir, I'm about to jump off here then. We're
Same.
gonna keep having tech difficulties, but it's good talking to you tonight. Good live streaming on this subject. It's been fun.
Oh yeah, we'll figure out next week's show sometime this week. But we'll post it
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook once we figure it out.
Is our
All right. Well, we'll catch you later. I'm gonna jump off too.
You have a good one, man.
All right. See ya. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place.